Travis, who recently started his new job as a truck driver for Guardian Armored Transport Services, is at the bank to pick up cash. Just then, a woman approaches him and asks to borrow his pen. Travis is immediately smitten by her beauty. When she hands him a piece of paper, he panics, thinking it's a robbery. But the woman quickly introduces herself as Zoe and tells him that it's just her phone number. Eventually, they go on a date. Over dinner, Travis awkwardly thanks her for not filing a complaint. The evening ends with the two of them sleeping together. Meanwhile, Russell, a veteran employee at Guardian, is getting ready for work. He wishes his wife, Natalie, a happy 25th wedding anniversary and tells her that he plans to quit his job in 6 months so they can finally open the bed and breakfast she's always dreamed of. When Russell arrives at work, he's frustrated to find that he's been assigned a longer route, despite having requested a shorter shift a week ago. His boss, Clark, brushes off the complaint, telling him that nothing can be done now and that he is their best employee. Still irritated, Russell asks who his partner is, only to find out it's the new guy, Travis. From a distance, he notices Travis bragging to his coworkers that he got laid over the weekend. Annoyed, Russell cuts in and tells him they're already running late. As they head to the truck, Travis follows closely behind and tells Russell it's an honor to work alongside a seasoned professional. But Russell cuts him off, saying he has an anniversary dinner to get to and tells Travis to just focus on the job. Trying to make small talk, Travis asks what Russell has planned for the evening. Russell bluntly replies, "That's none of your business," and tells him to drive faster. Smiling, Travis mentions he aced the precision driving test for the Metro Police Department. Russell replies evenly, "If you did, you'd be a cop by now." Travis admits he failed every other part of the test, except the driving portion. Russell sternly warns him they won't be stopping, not even for a bathroom break. Travis jokes that, if it comes to that, he'll pee through the gun port just to make sure Russell gets home on time to his wife. Clark radios in, telling them to get going, and they do. As the day progresses, they make various stops to collect cash. Russell puts up with Travis's antics, including his loud music and endless chatter. At one point, Travis jokes that he got lucky being paired with Russell right before his retirement. But Russell corrects him, saying he's not retiring. Travis is surprised and asks why he's switching careers at his age. Annoyed, Russell demands, "How old do you think I am?" Travis replies with brutal honesty, "You're black and look 40, but could be up to 90. Later, Clark radios in and asks if Travis pulled a gun at the bank the previous Friday. Travis admits he did, but assures him that the police didn't file any report. Clark informs him that, regardless, the bank has pulled their contract with the company. He then fires Travis on the spot, adding insult by telling him he'll never become a real cop if this is how he behaves. Crushed, Travis breaks down and blames himself for pointing a gun at an innocent woman. He confides in Russell that everyone in his family is in law enforcement, but he's never been able to live up to that legacy. Just then, both men notice two cars tailing them closely. Suspecting a robbery attempt, they grow tense. One of the trailing cars speeds ahead, and from its sunroof, someone holds up a large white sheet with the words, "Pull over," scrawled across it. Panic sets in. Travis begins to freak out. Russell tries to calm him, telling him to remember his training. Travis gulps and admits, "I only took a 15-hour online training course." Russell tries to contact Clark, but realizes they're in a dead zone. To make matters worse, the robbers somehow knew about it. Suspicious, Travis starts to believe their snake boss might be behind it. When the robbers notice the truck still hasn't stopped, they throw a tear gas canister into the vehicle, causing Travis to lose focus. Thinking quickly, Russell pours an energy drink into Travis's eyes to snap him out of it. One of the robbers manages to take out a tire, but despite the chaos, the duo narrowly escapes, for now. Travis boasts about his driving skills, while Russell reminds him that they're still 80 miles away from the nearest city where they can alert the police. He suspects the robbers will come after them again. Meanwhile, the robbers are revealed to be led by Zoe. Her crew, Miguel and Banner, are promised a cut of their planned $60 million heist. With the initial attempt failed, Zoe tells them it's time to switch to Plan B. Back with Travis and Russell, the truck begins to slow down due to the damaged tire. Russell instructs Travis to take the next turn off the main road. A few minutes later, they pull over and begin repairing the tire. Nearby, Zoe and her crew stop at a cross-section. Miguel says the truck couldn't have gotten far with a flat tire. Zoe guesses they must have turned off here. Soon after, Travis spots the incoming cars. Both men rush back to the truck. Russell tells Travis to head back to the main road. As they try to escape, the robbers come at them from both sides, but Travis manages to slip through and get back on the main road. The chase continues as Miguel jumps out of the car and climbs onto the armored truck. Despite Travis's efforts to shake him off, Miguel begins cutting into the back door. Inside, Russell gets up and starts shooting at him, guided by Travis's shouts about Miguel's position outside. But in the struggle, Russell loses his gun. Frustrated and desperate, Russell suggests they give the robbers the money so they'll leave. While looking for the cash, he discovers some illegal cargo, including a squirrel monkey.
That's a squirrel monkey! They're illegal from Costa Rica! They have huge balls!
Eventually, he locates the money and tosses it out, but the robbers still don't back off. Thinking fast, Russell throws out the dye-stained bills, finally giving them a chance to escape. What they don't realize is that Zoe survives, and she captures both of them. Inside the hideout, Travis yells at their captor, demanding to know who betrayed them. He assumes it was Clark who sold them out, but when the captor removes her helmet, Travis falls silent, staring in disbelief. It's Zoe. Suddenly, he remembers how he drunkenly told her everything, about his job, their routes, and even the dead zones. Zoe tells him it wasn't Clark. Trying to save face, Travis says, it doesn't matter, since she's a criminal who lies anyway. She pats them down for phones and finds a wedding ring in Russell's pocket, which she promises to return later. Then Zoe blames them for the deaths of her crew and for ruining her 2-year plan to rob $60 million. Confused, Russell tells her the truck only had $300,000, but Travis jumps in, suggesting the monkey might be worth $60 million. Zoe corrects them. She's not after the cargo, but the armored truck itself. Then she gives them a choice: help her finish the job or die. Back in the truck, Travis asks Zoe not to tell Russell that they know each other. Zoe agrees. When he mentions the number, Zoe admits it was fake and advises him to give women more time before calling. Still, she admits she had a good time with him that weekend. Russell enters the truck, and Travis loudly tells Zoe to get Russell home in time for his anniversary. Not far away, Miguel and Banner regroup, both alive and angry that Zoe left them to die. Back with Zoe, she tells Russell and Travis that they'll be out of the dead zone in a minute and warns them to act normal. When Clark checks in over the radio, Travis, in a petty attempt to get back at his boss, responds sweetly and tells him to enjoy his nice smoothie. Zoe, intrigued, asks what he put in it. Russell brushes it off, saying it's probably nothing. But Travis admits he did put something in there. She assumes Travis is about to get fired. He shrugs and tells her he's already been fired for pulling a gun on an innocent woman. Russell continues the story, joking that Travis fell in love with the woman after she disappeared. Travis quickly denies the claim. Just then, Russell's phone rings. Zoe hands it over so he can answer, but Russell warns her that his wife will immediately know something is wrong by the tone of his voice. Zoe doesn't care. Russell answers and apologizes for missing her earlier call, explaining they were in a dead zone. When Natalie asks if he saw her ring, he lies and says he didn't. He then adds another lie, claiming he won't be able to make it to dinner because his boss assigned him a night shift. She simply replies, okay. Then Zoe instructs Travis to turn here, and they soon arrive at an auto repair shop. She speaks with the mechanic, an old friend, explaining that her old crew is dead and she needs the truck fixed. He agrees to help. Then Zoe walks with the pair toward a nearby restaurant. She casually reveals that she has men watching Natalie and warns them not to try anything. Once inside, Travis notices that Zoe dips her pancakes, and he tells her that he does the same. He's never met someone else who does. Clearing her throat, Zoe shifts the conversation to business. She explains the plan. They're going to rob a casino, the Sorrento. She says the heist will happen at 2:45 p.m., exactly 15 minutes before the scheduled cash pickup, since it's a Monday and they'll be collecting the weekend earnings. She adds that her guy is changing the truck number to match the official pickup truck, and he's also installing an RFID transponder that will verify it's the correct vehicle. Moments later, Zoe receives a message saying the truck is ready. She gestures subtly under the table and tells Russell, "Take this, it'll help you." Believing her, he offers his hand. She then takes Travis to the restroom and demands his uniform. As he reluctantly begins to undress, she casually asks if he fell in love with her. He scoffs and tells her not to flatter herself. She's a criminal. Zoe shrugs, saying the people he's picking up the money for don't exactly play by the book either. Meanwhile, Russell drops a cup and uses it to cut himself free. Later, Zoe and Travis come out to find Russell gone. Outside, he ambushes Zoe. But to his shock, he sees that Travis is with her and appears to be on her side. Russell quickly jumps to the conclusion that Travis is the inside man, but Zoe reveals that she's the same woman Travis pulled a gun on at the bank. She adds that Travis didn't know anything about her real plan. An hour later, they're back on the road. Russell still can't believe Travis actually thought a woman would sleep with him after he pulled a gun on her, and even worse, that he went on to spill details about his job. Travis defends himself, saying that's just what people do on dates. They share things. Zoe comes to Travis's defense, telling Russell that she got him drunk. And during that time, he talked about his family and dreams, which she thought was sweet. She admits that, after reviewing both of their profiles, she chose Travis because he seemed special. Travis smiles, but Russell cuts in, saying she only picked him because he's an idiot, which made her job easier. Meanwhile, Miguel and Banner arrive at the auto repair shop and demand to know Zoe's whereabouts. When the mechanic says he doesn't know, they kill him. It's now 29 minutes until the heist, This time, Zoe ties up Travis and decides to take Russell inside. Travis, annoyed, insists he can break free too and blow up her mission. But Russell points out that he won't because she is his boo. Travis replies, "She isn't anymore." Zoe, mock-offended, asks if he no longer wants to run off with her into the sunset. Travis tells her he still does, but only if she stops this robbery nonsense. Zoe insists it's not nonsense. She explains that her father worked as a guard at the very casino they're about to rob for 17 years. One day, a restaurant inside caught fire. Since casino safes are fail-safe, the doors began automatically sealing shut, trapping the guards inside. Her father, stationed just down the hall, stepped in to stop the door from closing and saved their lives. But he died in the process. Instead of compensating him, however, the casino blamed him for abandoning his post. Zoe was only 12 at the time. She and her mother were left with nothing. She says her father died protecting their money, and that's why she vowed to take it back. Travis apologizes for her loss. Just then, Natalie arrives. Zoe quickly pretends to be Russell's boss and manages to get her inside. Once in, she points a gun at her and tells her to stay quiet. Russell, confused, asks how Natalie got past Zoe's guy. Zoe shrugs, admitting the man was just her cousin doing her a favor. A one-off job, made $100. They arrive at the casino. Security is suspicious because the truck has shown up earlier than the scheduled time at 3 p.m. However, after scanning the RFID tag, they allow the truck inside. Once past the gate, another guard stops them and asks what happened to the scheduled drivers. Zoe freezes, but Russell quickly steps in, explaining that the original crew was attacked during an attempted robbery earlier that morning. The perpetrator is caught, but the drivers were placed on mental leave, so the shift was reassigned at the last minute. The explanation works. They're cleared and proceed toward the vault. Zoe notes that they have about 10 minutes left, but a new problem arises. A WWE champion is modeling, sitting on the cash as part of a promo shoot. It'll be at least 30 minutes before they wrap. Thinking fast, Zoe approaches the wrestler and says she's a big fan. She casually adds that she doesn't think it's right how Cortez is trash-talking him now on live TV, especially the stuff about his mom. The wrestler storms off, giving them a clear path to the money. They quickly begin loading the cash. Before they leave, the casino manager stops Zoe and says he recognizes her. He tells her that Michael died a hero. Zoe thanks him for all he's done to help. He tells her not to mention it. They finish loading the money into the truck. At exactly 1 minute before the scheduled pickup, they get the green light and exit the casino, just as the real scheduled truck arrives. They drive to a rundown building where Zoe reveals she has stashed 2 cars. She tells them this is where they all part ways. However, Miguel and Banner show up and slam their car into the truck, knocking everyone unconscious. When they wake up, they find themselves tied up. Banner loads the stolen cash into a blue car and roughly wakes Zoe. She tells him to let them go since he already has the money. Banner mocks her, saying she must like her new team more. Meanwhile, Travis spots a pair of pliers on the ground just as Banner tells Zoe he's taking the money, and the ring, which Natalie notices. Then Russell asks Travis to put the truck in reverse. Zoe uses the moment of distraction to strike. In the chaos, Miguel is shot. Zoe gets into the blue car and drives off. Frustrated, Miguel grabs Natalie as a hostage and shoots Russell. Despite the injury, Russell and Travis manage to get into the truck and begin chasing Banner, who is already pursuing Zoe. Soon, the police join the chase. At the same time, Clark radios in, asking where they are. His collector is furious about the missing monkey. Eventually, he sees them on the news and realizes what's going on. In the end, Banner takes out the police cars and continues following Zoe. But Zoe makes a sharp, unexpected turn and loses him. Just then, Travis slams the truck into Banner's vehicle. He opens fire, hitting the truck and causing it to catch fire. They jump out, landing on top of Zoe's car. Panicked, Russell shouts that they need to get Natalie. Travis tries to move, but his hand tie gets caught. He grabs onto the hood for dear life. After an intense exchange of gunfire, Zoe runs out of bullets. That's when Natalie, seizing the opportunity, steps out and knocks out Banner. Russell embraces his wife. Then, he walks over to Banner's unconscious body, pulls out the wedding ring, and gives it back to Natalie, who is amazed at how beautifully it's been restored. Zoe turns to Travis and asks if he'd like to run off into the sunset with her. He says no, so she kisses him and walks away. Later, they're questioned about the robbery. Travis notices Zoe had slipped him her phone number. To protect her, he swallows the paper. An officer approaches and praises him for his bravery, signaling that Russell didn't snitch on him. Travis thanks Russell. 6 months later, Zoe is relaxing in Bali when she gets a call from Travis, who's now training at the police academy. She asks if he'd like to join her. He smiles and says yes. Meanwhile, Russell and Natalie have finally opened their dream bed and breakfast. One morning, Russell notices a mysterious package left outside his front door. Inside, he finds something unexpected, left behind by Zoe and Travis,